are here with Samia.
So, Samia, tell us about your journey to mamahood.
Ooh, baby. It was a wild ride. I didn't even know I was in postpartum till it was over.
Right.
18 to 24 months later. And I was like, oh shit, like this is me.
You talked about your childhood trauma. You've been very open about that on your podcast, even within our group. Even just now, you kind of hinted about it. Can you tell listeners a little bit more of what you endured, and then did it have an effect on you or how you parent your son today?
My dad was molesting me in the home for most of like the middle school, adolescent, puberty years.
Sure.
So have you forgiven? I know you say you've cut ties with your parents essentially, but have you forgiven them for?
Absolutely. I gotta pat my face because I gotta say this face, y'all.
It's okay.
We gotta go out there with the rattlers. You gotta stay ready. Rattler beat on my
We
face.
love you.
Yeah, we love you.
Thank you.
We love
Stay at home on 9 to 5, raising your babies with joy and pride. A real ass mom, you're a real ass mom. Taking care of business, ooh girl, you're resilient. 'Cause you're a real ass mom, a real ass mom.
Welcome to the Real Mama Pod.
I'm your host, Devin.
And I'm your host, Kendra,
We are real moms.
sharing real experiences.
The things people don't tell you.
So you talk about exposing your son to a lot, really. And you talk about, your sexuality. You're very open about that. And you identify as polyamorous.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Can you educate us on what it means to identify as polyamorous?
Polyamorous. So I have the ability to love multiple people at one time, right? I make the choice to consensually engage in more than one relationship at a time if that's how the shoe fits or it falls. I can be in a monogamous relationship one-on-one, but also I cannot, right? I have the capacity for that. It's not the same as swinging. Swinging is where like couples play with other couples and things like that, or lifestyle where people will go try out different things, and that may include like intimacy with other people or things like that. Polyamory is the real foundational, like I can have foundations with more than one person. I can have real relationships, not just, oh, you want to have sex with multiple people.
Right.
First of all, one, I'm a sapiosexual, so I have a high need for mental engagement. And then two, I was loved by so many people. My parents did the best they had with what they had.
Right.
And they took a lot from me. But a lot of people didn't even know, because of all the love I was really getting from other places, whether that been my friendships or their parents. I watched people take me in as one of their own multiple times without them treating me different than their other kids. Or even if you have another child, you know what it feels like to love more than one child. It doesn't change. If anything, it helps you appreciate and see the differences in the other child when the new child comes.
Right.
It may be difficult to balance, but that's why you plan to have another child, or either you make adjustments or you communicate better. It's the same thing in these relationships. For me, I just have the capacity to do it romantically more than once. But it doesn't always align that way. Sometimes, more times than not, I'm usually in a monogamous relationship, but I always have to let people know I could fall in love with somebody else. Now, but that also doesn't mean frivolously either, or without consent or without boundaries, or it doesn't always mean that I'm always available.
Right.
A lot of times I'm not available for anybody else. It's hard to find one person. It don't get no easier with polyamory. It's still hard to find multiple people. It also means that it gives me the opportunity to date other couples. Everybody is different. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is different. I feel like as long as people have integrity, then I can trust you're different. But if you lying and you just ain't getting none at home, and so now you want to date somebody else, or she really don't seem like she okay with this, but I ain't with none of that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Every time someone has seen me with a couple or with a married man or whatever, please understand that there was a lot of consent. There's a lot of details that were going on. I don't have to explain myself to anyone. And also sometimes I've ended up dating people that weren't comfortable with their own truth, or they were embarrassed or didn't want people to know, or they didn't know how to tell their children or whatever. And so they might date me in private to a certain extent or things like that. But and I understand there are also a lot of stories out here, but a lot of people have been fucking with terrible people, one-on-one, single-wise, or monogamous, or y'all in poly relationships and y'all don't even know. Because, you know what I'm saying? And y'all fine with that. The truth is people are just uncomfortable with what they don't understand. Because I've definitely had more people try to encourage me to like forgive someone for cheating than to just live my life the way that I live it. Right. They would rather encourage that, you know? Yeah. But for me, cheating is a deal breaker. Why? Because you don't have to cheat with me. You just have to tell me your truth.
Be honest, right?
Yes. Can you defend your truth? Can you explain to me that you're equipped to handle your truth? Your truth is that you need multiple women. Can you afford it? Can you communicate? Can you explain to me that this is real? Are you not going to just throw someone else away because they have feelings too? I go through all of that.
Yeah.
But also it's an avenue for me to have non-sexual relationships as well. So that's been a huge thing. I have intimacy in every single one of my relationships. So I feel like I'm polyamorous even when I'm not romantically dating. Right. Because with my friendships, I take them very seriously. We get each other's flowers, we get each other gifts, we call, we check up, share your location. Did you make it okay? Let me know when you get home. I found that if anything, I'm much more sensitive to being taken advantage of or being gullible because of my past. And as I strengthen that, I have a checklist that I kind of go off of, and I just make sure that all the relationships in my life, I'm giving them the same energy that I would give a romantic partner, right? So that helps me not get lost up in things, or because being quiet is really what got me in some trouble. Keeping things, I have to be more open, honest, and vulnerable with people to make sure that I'm like, am I tripping, or you know what I mean?
And so like this is the real.
Yeah. And so I'm very vulnerable and very intimate with my friends. That doesn't mean sexual at all. Intimate as in, do you need a hug, or even allowing them to touch me, or like touch is a very difficult thing for me, you know? But allowing them to hold me, allowing them to sit there while I cry, allowing me to ask for help, that's intimacy for me, you know? And even just the non-sexual ones, because sometimes there are relationships that you have that don't need to move into a sexual space, but we don't give them any energy because, of course, we only date one partner. And it's like, if I can only have one partner, it need to be some fucking included. So if you talking about one partner, talking about it's non-sexual, I'm sorry, that ain't gonna work. But now that I give myself the space to just be able to love multiple types of people with just the honesty of it all, it's fine. You know, it's fine. And it's not for everybody. Absolutely. That's the one thing I hate, when everybody try to like push it off on everybody. That's why people hate it, because it's like, I don't want to be. Nobody is pushing you into doing this. But similar to Christianity, how a lot of like the holy rollers will try to push Christianity on you and stuff like that. It's similar to monogamous people. A lot of monogamous people will be like, well, that's why you're doing it. A lot of monogamous people get away with hell. And what I've learned is that there are a lot of polyamorous couples that have never actually dated an outside person or dated an additional person, but they live by the rules of polyamory, which is you do not own anyone, and we are all susceptible to change. If you with somebody for 30 years, you get so comfortable that you're like, I know that you need this thing, and I'm never going to be able to give that to you. But even having a different partner that you do that with, like, I'm not really a movie person. I know I'm getting into production and I won't watch movies, but I don't like movies. If I had a partner that was like, I really love, like, what that does something for them, like that's a thing for them, and it's a quiet time, whatever it is, I'll be knocked out. So sometimes dating another person that just is different than your normal partner means that I don't have to force myself to be something that I can't be for you. I only do the things I want to do in this life now. I've wasted too much time doing anything else. I only do what I want to do, right? So some people are like, that's real frivolous. No. I might not want to do this budget, but I do want to balance my finances. I want to fix this and that. So I might not want to do it in this moment, or I might not like the circumstances, but I do want to do it. You know what I mean? So then I find a way to like, how can I make this fun? Do I need to pop a gummy and do the budget? Do I need to, you know what I'm saying? Do I need to turn on some music? Do I need to ask somebody for help? How can I find a way to do it where I want to do it so I'm not resenting the work, right? Yeah. But the things I don't want to do, if you get with a partner and they're like, oh, do this with me, and you know that you hate doing that thing, it's going to be difficult to keep up in the next 5 years. Now they resent you, and it's like, well, if you love me, you would do it with me too. That's not true. That's not true. I used to get in so many arguments with my ex-husband, and not just because we had chose the wrong people relationship-wise, but like with him and I. But I feel like I said that wrong. Not because we chose each other as the wrong person, because no matter what, he was not my person. But in that, I still learned so much. I kept trying to make him do things that he clearly did not want to do. He did not like to read. He was more of an audiobook or let me listen to a person. I love to read. That's a hold the book, smell the nasty little library pages. I like that. Don't know why, but I'm still pen and paper. Yeah. He worked in tech. He was not with none of that. He's like, baby, the times have changed.
Where have you been?
So we were bumping heads there, and it was like, at one point, I got another partner that loved to read. Honestly, the last year of my relationship was the best because I was not asking him to do anything that he really genuinely didn't want to do. Even though that relationship didn't work, I did take that to the future, which was, why do I feel like I have to be my partner's everything? Because it doesn't necessarily have to be another romantic relationship they have. Maybe they do need to hang out with their friends more because there's something that those friendships do for them that I don't. And I know, and I get jealous all the time. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not a jealous person. Jealousy is an emotion. It's a feeling, and it tells you something. It tells me that, oh, if you go have a picnic with this person, that maybe I want a picnic too. Like, hey, I really like that you did that with them. Like, can we do that too? Not why you went and had a picnic with them, but you don't want to have a picnic with me. It doesn't mean any of that. But, and it don't mean that with your children. Especially if you have more than one, you know that it doesn't mean that. And you have to do that all the time. But with our romantic partner, we possess them. And we expect them to fill the gaps. I'm already polyamorous no matter what because my first relationship is with me. It has to be. So no matter what, I think all of us are poly. The thing is, we just don't take those other relationships, whether it be with ourselves or our friends, serious. I didn't say polyamory had to be is all sexual relationships. But all of my relationships are real relationships.
Yeah.
So I am polyamorous. And also I like to do a whole bunch of kind of nasty shit and everybody don't be on the shit I'm on. You got one partner that's like, I love you, but absolutely not. And then you got other partners that's like, okay, I try. So, that part is fun too, but it's less than you think. My boundaries are really high when it comes around that. So finding other people to date is really difficult because I'm extremely attracted to other people loving each other. Like couples that are in love, it turns me on. But you can absolutely tell when it ain't right. You can absolutely tell. Like, that sneaky shit don't get nowhere with me.
No.
Yeah, because I call you right now. Where's your permission slip? I don't even want to hang. Yeah, I don't even want to hang out with no husband and I haven't seen you interact with your wife.
Right.
That's weird. Like, but people have all these assumptions about shit they don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
So thank you for asking.
Thank you for
and thanks for
talking
clearing that
about
up
it,
too,
right.
because obviously we're not poly, but sometimes you hear like negative things, and to hear the other aspect of it.
I was hella negative stuff.
Yeah.
I was hella negative stuff. But monogamy is mostly negative stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's mostly that. And I'm not pressuring anyone to do anything.
Yeah.
But I always use the reference of Christianity. And mind you, I believe in God. I'm a firm believer. But I also understand that Christians are sometimes the most ignorant. They pass the most judgment and don't know about other religions at all. Versus other religions will say, I totally understand what you believe. They can quote scriptures back to you and this, like, but this is their choice. And we respect that. Also, I found that, like, if I was Muslim or Islamic faith or the proper words or African descent, nobody would have a problem with me being one of 4 wives to someone.
Right.
It's just with African American culture, we just don't trust it or we degrade it. Like, you know what I mean? We degrade it and make everything raunchy and over-sexualized. Yeah. But if I had on a hijab, then nobody would have a problem with it at all. Miss me with it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just so tired of it. And also, you think that if I will sleep with multiple people, that I might sleep with your husband. And that's just because you're dealing with people that really aren't your friends. I'm not that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not that way. And if anything, relationships have improved when you're with the right people. They don't always last.
Right.
But they can improve when you have that 3-way mirror, because a lot of people going home and they're being manipulated by their partner. They're being talked to one way behind closed doors, but then in public they're talking like this, or they're making these public posts like, oh, my man, my man, my man. But at home, you're not doing this or that.
Right.
Women are always usually the more emotional, abusive of the people. You know what I'm saying? But when you have that third person, you can't get away with those things anymore. You know? So there are a lot of pros if you're willing to do the work. A lot of people just not even willing to do the work with one person. They also don't know why they want to be quote unquote polyamorous. They also feel like they need to say polyamorous because they want to sleep with other people. You know, like, it's so many different things.
Yeah.
But
And it sounds like it's a lot of consent involved, not just sleeping
nothing
around.
but consent.
Yeah.
Nothing but consent.
Communication, open, very honest. Like you talked about, the integrity.
Yeah. I'm at a point where I don't want to live without 100% of what I want. I only want everything that I want. I used to think that I had to have this 80-20 rule over my life. That's with people. But in my life, everything that I consent to, these are my choices and my decisions, and I want everything. But I do know factually is not one person, any other person can give me every single thing I need. The only person who has control over that is myself in consensual situations. So I don't even date similar people. I may date one person for this. They might talk to my artsy background. Then I got another person over here that all we talk about is business and numbers. I need to be fed in different ways. So if I know me and what I need, it helps someone else have trust that I'm really clear about, you know, what's really going on versus like shicey shit.
Right.
And people also be in shicey shit. Know they be in shicey shit. And then, oh, I don't like polyamory. Y'all wasn't having sex by yourself. Y'all hadn't discussed it. And then you was like, oh, we should open our relationship.
Right. Right.
And also, it's really great for people that are asexual or have transformed into a more, and asexual is really a terrible word because technically none of us are like asexual as humans, but where maybe your desire changes or whatever. And when I'm not talking about for a moment, I'm talking about like some people just don't desire it. A lot of us are like victimizing ourselves having sex when we don't really want to. And so you are violating your own self over and over and over again because you feel like you have to. Or you don't know how to explain to your partner that I love you very much, but I don't even need the sexual component anymore. But you don't know how to even say that because you've made this agreement. Or because you don't want them to think that it's in spite of them or because of them or something that has to do with them. If I decide to do forever again, I need someone to understand forever means I'm going to change. I change with myself over and over again. If I'm not allowed to change with you naturally, then I can't be with you. And sometimes some of those changes are not things that we want. You know, of course, my life would be so much easier if I just was good with one person.
Yeah.
You think I rooted my child's life because I just wanted to have sex with multiple people? No, I had to be myself.
Right.
But,
So,
you know.
if you did forever again, do you know if it would be with one person or?
Getting married again?
Yeah. What would that look like if you were to do it? Even. Or
I would
what do
love.
you think it would
I'm
look
a
like?
very traditional person. I know that sounds crazy. I'm saying all this, talking about booty holes and everything else. I'm a very traditional person. It's just it has more people involved.
Right.
I want Sunday dinners. I want the big house. I'm a very village girl. So like. Even when people watch how I do my friendship, it's very villagey. Like, how can we pitch in with each other? And because I'm scared to death to have my child by myself. I don't want to mess him up. It's a lot I don't know. You know? So keeping people around me that are going to support me and support him so we have everything I need versus thinking that it all has to come from me or this household, it doesn't make sense. He loves his bonus mom. You know? So, like, even right now, my forever looks like this. It has them in it still forever. It just, it changed. It's just a different form of forever. But it's still there. But for me, I would do forever again.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I want another child. But I would do, my forever looks like only, I don't want to necessarily split resources with multiple people, like go into business together with everybody or like have bank accounts with everybody or any of that. But I could do another forever. I don't know if I would call it marriage because I realized after being in it, I love the word partnership better. Because my partner allows me the space to be your friend and to be a lover, allows me to be a person. And partnership and friendship has much more respect and boundaries than a marriage ever had for me. And so, I mean, you can get down to the technical of it, but I'll be forever with somebody again. I ain't against it. I love it. Not the marriage part, but I love the
partnership,
the family of it all. I love family. I love family. So, I would do forever, but I would definitely need them to know, hey, we might have some sub-ins or, you know, and I don't know if I want us to have the same bedroom. I think I might need 2 of those.
I need a little, just a
little space, you know. You know, yeah. But I definitely need a woman in my life as well, not as a main partner. So that's also why I like couples. It feeds both of my desires of like wanting men and women and, you know, just a greedy bitch all around. Just want everything.
I want it all.
I want it all, but I don't necessarily want it right now. I want it all. And I realize it may not look the way that I think it does. Because I am, if anything, I feel more polyamorously fed than I ever have in my life. And I don't have a partner at all. Because I take my relationships seriously. You know, all of them. All my friendships. So I feel like I'm living that poly life right now.
So did you always know you were poly or did you find out after your divorce?
No, I've always been this way.
Okay.
I just didn't know there was a word for it for a
Okay.
long time.
Gotcha.
And then I kept trying to fit in boxes.
Yeah, and kind
You
of
know,
suppressed it.
yeah, it was like, oh, we supposed to get married, da 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 da, and then I'm like, oh, you want to have a threesome, and they like, well, yeah, and I'm like, okay, but it's really because I want the things that I want,
Yeah.
and certain things turn me on, like being honest about even what turns you on.
Yeah.
Why do couples turn me on? One, I like to watch. Two, it instills my faith that love is real. You know, watching a couple love each other and then have so much they have enough to give to me. You know what I mean? Like, I talked to a woman before and she said, you know, my husband is an amazing man. And I know that there are not enough of them to go around. And so I don't mind when he chooses another woman that is deserving of a man like him. And I'm able to share that love with her. That was some of the most poetic shit.
Yeah. I could never say that.
I heard that bitch say, no,
this is
clink,
mine.
clink,
Right.
no. You can be your own person, but that's mine. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah,
And I'm not
I'm
saying
like,
I've always even wanted to share everybody. I don't
yeah.
think everybody should do that.
Yeah.
But you do probably share your husband with friends like, hey, she needs help moving.
Oh,
and just
yeah.
even being a gentleman. That's a form of sharing. But
Yeah.
it's so many women that be like, why you hold her door?
You know, no.
What?
I do want you to be respectful. I want you to be
Still,
kind.
right.
I want you to be helpful. Like,
You should still have
Yeah.
good relationships with other people.
Because
Yeah.
relationships extend beyond
Romantic ones.
romantic, right?
Sexual
like,
ones.
just being a
It
good
does.
person
Yes.
in general that's relationship, right? So
Absolutely.
I don't mind sharing in that capacity.
Yeah, that-
Right, I
capacity.
heard that. She said, look, y'all hoes stay away from my man. I heard that. But yeah.
If you need Jared to move something, make something.
Lift something
Yeah.
for you, he
Right.
got you.
Like,
Otherwise,
yeah.
I can't help you. No, I feel that. And it's always, when people move outside of that, they know they moving outside of that. They do. So I tell people all the time that it's so crazy because I talk about sexual things all the time. And I tell people that doesn't make it a sexual moment.
Right.
It's so many women that come to my DM and they're like, hey, do you mind talking to my husband? Do you know how special that is?
Right.
And somebody will say, hey, can you do it?
Right.
You know, even with me dressing how I decide to dress or how I decide to do anything, they're still saying in there because they can feel that energy if somebody is really on their side or
Right.
not.
Right.
Oh, that thing vibrating about this. Uh-oh. See, bank calling. They say, where the money, baby? I call you when I got it. We working on it. We doing the work right now.
Literally.
Right.
We're making the investment. It's gonna pay off. I'm gonna send them this video and be like, look, I'm working on it.
I'm working.
I'm working. I get it, yes. But yeah, I don't want to violate anybody's consent. I know what that feels like.
Right.
In any capacity.
Right.
So I don't want no man that ain't supposed to be doing that.
Right.
I don't, you know. Yeah, so, but
Thank you for being just your true, honest, and open self.
Yeah.
Because people don't know, right?
Yeah.
And this platform is used to educate as well.
yeah,
So
for sure.
thank you for that.
All different types of mamas. The real
Yeah.
mama. I
Yeah.
love
Right.
it. It's
All
so
kind
many
of mamas.
types.
And we've had a lot of stories on here with different avenues of motherhood. So
Look here.
yeah, just add to that library. So
Look
now
here. That it's so many different. I feel like my kid even his school is kind of hippie-ish, which I love that.
Yeah.
Because I'm so different. But I remember I dropped him off at daycare one day after the weekend, and I had partners come down, and they stayed with us. My kid met their kids, and you know it was really nice. And he went to school, and the lady I picked him up, and she was like, yeah, Trey told me you guys have visitors. She said, I just want you to know, he told me that, so-and-so and so-and-so slept in my mommy's bed, and this is who slept in his room. And I said, yes. And she was like, in case, I said, as long as he feels comfortable to let y'all know that, he'll also let y'all know if something wrong. I said, did he say he enjoyed them? He said he had a blast. I said, that's all that mattered. And she was, surprisingly or not, I got a business connection off of that. She was like, well, actually, can I have your card? Like, be who you are.
Yeah.
It's when you hide it that people can use things against you, but I don't have anything to hide,
Right.
I have integrity.
Right.
Which means that if I make a mistake, I can be accountable for it, apologize, fix it,
Right.
things like that. But otherwise, this is the story, and I want to be used. I want people to take what they need from my story, do what they need to do, because I don't want anybody to ever feel some of the things that I've ever felt.
Yeah.
So if I got to do my part and I got to live this life doing these things forever, then that's just what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah.
So.
So speaking of partners, have you introduced Trey to all partners? Some
No, not all
selective,
partners.
Like, yeah.
No, not all
Okay.
partners. I'm
So
really.
how do you know who he
I
is
did with
introduced
the last married couple I dated. I did with them because they had children as well.
to? Makes sense.
So I felt more comfortable with that. But outside of that, Trey doesn't meet anybody that I date. He's been around his bonus mom since me and his dad separated, and I think he was a really good judge of character as far as like I adore her. I think that she's amazing. Trey raves about it. You know, tell the other little kids, you know, that's my mama and that's my daddy and that's my bonus mom. And the
I
other
love
kid,
it.
like, how do I get a bonus mom?
Right.
And it's like, I don't know. It's just mine. Like, just listen to little kids talk.
Right.
And,
yeah.
you know, so that's really beautiful. But yeah, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know you.
Right.
Yeah, so you
gotta
can,
be
and also I don't want him to be attached to everybody
Yeah.
because also I don't get in the way of any of his relationships.
Okay.
The one person that he met that I dated for the longest after his dad, he still has a relationship with him today, and like I mean it's fine, but you know, could you not? Like I'm not hating, but I just don't get in the way of his relationships.
Yeah.
You know, because if you do form a relationship with Trey, as long as that's still healthy and
Right.
you making time for my kid, but I did put down some boundaries. If we're broken up and you're telling him that you still gonna be his friend,
Right.
then you better call my
You
baby.
better be
Right.
his friend.
You better
Right.
be his friend.
Right.
But otherwise, we make a hard goodbye. Like
Yeah.
so, I don't fuck around with my kid.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
So we gonna respect that, but otherwise, no.
You in one of I guess your responses to one of the questions, you talked about your van. That, and the van is
Charlie.
Charlie's
Charlie's
Yes,
van.
Charlie. I could not remember the name of Charlie. Tell us a little bit about Charlie and how you've used Charlie to expose Trey to
This
right, because you said last summer y'all traveled in this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about
for sure. So even though my parents aren't in my life, they are a part of every single thing that I do. I grew up camping, outside, fishing. Like I know people they be seeing the Louis Vuitton get confused, baby. They go to the woods too. It goes to the woods too. And so it's something I really miss when it comes to like my dad and our time and just so much. Damn it, I can't
It's
say
okay. I'm sorry.
Talk through it.
So
yeah.
I always incorporate, you know, whatever I can from them that fits. He knows about it. So I wanted to make sure that he knew how to fish. I wanted to make sure he knew about outside. And so I always wanted to have a camper. And so when I got to a certain point and I was really starting to take these fake rules, I had all these fake rules on my life because I didn't have boundaries. But once I started removing the fake rules and made real boundaries, I realized some of those rules I was putting on myself to just not even live, not to spend money. I was living in scarcity and I had 6 figures in savings, 6 figures in checkings and oh boy, what a time. And all these things. And it was like, I hadn't spent no money. I was still in Walmart clothes. And nothing wrong with Walmart, y'all. But y'all know damn well, it's some things you don't need to be buying from Walmart in multiple colors. You know, but I've come a long way. So it was like, I'm going to use this money and I'm going to start knocking off my bucket list. And that's what happened last year. So I went through my bucket list and I started with that van. And so I was like, okay, but if I'm going to do the van, I'm make it make sense. I can work from anywhere. So I got it built with like LED lights so that way I could record in there. It has Wi-Fi. It has like a stove. It has a bed big enough for me and him. And it's aesthetically, I got to show you after this. It's aesthetically like gorgeous. Like it looks like a content. Like the first content house, right?
Yeah.
Right. On wheels. And it made it a safe way for me to camp as a young lady. Got a place to put my gun, I can park, you know, and it fits into a regular parking spot. And so, once I got that, I was outside, honey. We was at the park every day, hammocks. We were going to the beach. And it was like I didn't have to pay for a hotel anymore or I was able to cook a meal. Like, oh, it was so amazing. Like, I love that van. So I'm trying to work him up to being in it more than like 3 or 4 days at a time because he is very bougie. He'd be like, okay, I'm ready to go home. And so I think that's the adjustment now. So I don't have my home where he lives anymore. So it's just us in the van on the weeks that I have him. So like switching between like hotels and that to, you know, to figure it out. And, you know, like calling some friends like, hey, we're going to stay tonight. And as we transition through this, you know, this odd period. But I love it. I do love that van. But I'm very aware that there is a privilege that we get with the van that the homeless haven't gotten. So it's also made me very aware of that
Yeah.
because people get arrested for living in their car and da-da-da-da-da. But, because I got LED lights,
Right.
it's not the same. And I realized that when I had to give up my other home, I was like, the privilege of having the nice van, you know, so that and, you know, just really diversifying his experiences. So I really want to take him to the Grand Canyon.
Oh, that would be amazing.
I really want to take him to the Grand Canyon. So I'm trying to work him up because we need some days for that.
Yeah,
so
you do.
right now he'd
Several.
be like, I'm done.
Right.
Take me home. So I gotta work him up to it. But yeah, he
He's gonna
loved
be
the
in a
van.
little while going to the Grand Canyon.
Yeah, he loved Charlie though. He's like, yeah. And then if I take him to school in the van, then
Oh,
you know,
it's over.
Oh, it's over. He just think he's too cool for school. I'm like, do you know your mama is cool, boy? Like, so yeah, he's starting to get it now. But yeah,
We like Charlie.
I love.
I could
Charlie.
not
real
think of
cute.
the name of that van.
Yeah, Charlie got a whole Instagram page.
I
You
know,
follow the
but I
page.
could not think of the name of the
Yeah,
van.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna have another child, but I said if I had a girl, her name would be Charlie. And then after the divorce, I was like, well, it doesn't seem like it's swinging that way, and so I named the van Charlie. So I was like, I got my girl. That's
Yeah.
my girl. Charlie's my girl.
I love it. I love it.
Yes.
So cute. So speaking of Trey, when he gets older and he has questions about your line of work and being a sex educator, what do you say to him? Like, how does that conversation goes? A video pops up, like,
Oh yeah,
you
I'm
know,
talking something crazy. Talking
yeah.
about taking my mouth master class or something. Well, I've always thought about that. So that's one of the reasons that my content is behind a paywall because at least if kids are going to ever talk about him, he'll be paid and they won't. That's one.
okay,
Because kids are mean.
right, they are.
Yes, Trey has his own. Trey's fine.
Yeah,
I'm the one whose assets have changed.
Right.
Trey got it. He need to let me borrow $10. So there's that aspect.
Right.
I always said that if I was going to do this, like I said, I made a pact with God that I'm not doing this for everybody else and then still struggle.
Right.
But also one day he gonna turn into a grown ass man. I'm pretty sure he gonna want his little dick sucked. Like I just think so. I think like he may not want to hear about it from his mama, but you do want the information to hit them at some point. I don't want him to be unhappy in any way. I just try to leave it at that because I don't want to go into no more details in my mind. Be like, so there's that, and then also I practice now by not shaming him.
Yeah.
Like when you do, with boys, you walk in and they touching stuff and stuff flinging around, and you like.
yeah,
Hey, son,
yeah.
close the door whenever you want a little privacy, okay?
Yeah.
Like even in those steps. So I haven't been working against his sexuality all this time. So by the time that I explain it to him, all he got to use is a little logic. Like, oh, well, that makes sense. But he doesn't know anything else.
Yeah.
He only knows being encouraged and validated and not shamed about his sexuality.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of us are shamed not because of us.
Right.
You did not shame yourself first.
Right.
You touched yourself first and was just fine. Somebody else saw you doing something and shamed it or whatever. And so I don't want to put any of that on him.
Right.
And then when the time comes, it comes. But this is my life. That's why I made you a whole different business because I figured you might not want the dick sucking business. So if you don't like it, son, let's respect mommy's boundaries. You don't have to have this business.
Yeah.
I get at somebody else. You can have the media business.
Yeah.
Give them options, but also everything isn't a debate. I'm the parent. You're my responsibility until this age. And after that, you keep what resonates and you let go and you make your new experiences or your new patterns yourself. And if you don't like the work I do, don't let your wife suck your dick. That's what you want.
Imagine
I was not expecting that.
being your mother in law.
Right.
I'd be like, girl, what you doing this week?
Girl, we got because
Or
we gotta
like,
have
when
these
your
talks.
mama coming?
Right, when your mama coming?
Right. Oh boy.
We're gonna have those talks though. Like I need him to understand. Like we talk about these boys, but they are who we raised them to be.
Right.
Yes, that is
We
very
are.
true.
They are who we raised them to be.
Oh
Yeah.
So
boy. That's funny. So I guess my last question is, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
Oh baby,
Speak big too.
you already know I got time. I definitely see me progressing into a full expanded network, and I see me heavily into the keynote speaker, book phase of my life. I definitely see me executive producing for other big names. I see myself continuously building on the content house as well. because the thing that was put on my heart this past year was to help creatives retire.
Retire.
Help
Say that
creatives
again.
retire.
Okay.
And that spanned it into so many different ways. And I realized some of my purpose has tapped into different forms of that. So even myself, I'm like a little old lady, like when it comes to technology. So I couldn't really imagine what some of the old head creatives are doing. So I really want to get into executive producing some of their stories, their documentaries, their shows and things like that. And taking other educators under my wing and teaching them how to create digital content that they can get paid off of, and helping them do that, because it's so many, like even like you mentioned, my therapists and my astrologists and so many people that I've used, but they don't have a large social media platform, so other people don't know how to find them. And unfortunately, the world has changed. AI is out now too.
Yeah.
So now it's like, okay, the world is not going back. It's changing technologically, and they need help. I have to help them.
Yeah.
You know, I have to help the other content creation is a whole nother career outside of what you creating
Right.
content about.
Right.
And if you're doing something that's not your purpose, the thing that is your purpose is going to end up getting
Right.
derailed, and the people that need your assistance are not going to be able to get it. So I want the people that are making extraordinary content, doing extraordinary work, people that are therapists outside of Instagram,
Right.
to start being able to compete. So that way all the internet careers can kind of be shut down. Content creation is a real thing and I respect it, but everybody is not a content creator.
Right.
And the fact that everyone thinks they have to be, or thinks that they have to have 10,000 subscribers or 10,000 downloads a month on your show or on your this or that for it to be valid is killing us.
Because that's real.
That's real.
It's killing us. It's making us set this unrealistic expectation of delivery.
Yes.
Now you touch 1,000 people with your content and you say it only has 1,000
Yeah.
views.
Yeah.
That's 1,000 people.
It's 1,000 real people. And it might not be your job to be the star.
Right.
You might be a supporting role. You know? You have no idea. Every supporting role, my makeup artist, that's been therapy for me. People have not seen her face, but they've seen mine, and they don't understand what was underneath it before she blessed it. They don't understand the tears that have come out before she put this good old
Right.
on there. They don't know that.
Yeah.
But if you trying so busy to be a content creator, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to pay your bills for people to get hired,
Right.
you're not really in your purpose for me to get what I need to help you get what you need. So I'm showing up so people can just do what they supposed to be doing and give it to somebody else. You know? But you don't want to even give your stuff off to somebody else if they're not doing it right. With no integrity, ain't nobody going to do it like how you do it.
Right.
But I remember when I hired this cleaning lady, and you know how you are as a black lady. Sometimes you be like, I don't want nobody in my house cleaning my stuff.
Right.
When I tell you Alba cleaned the hell out of my house, I said she do it better than me. But we're doing stuff that we not really equipped to do.
Exactly.
That don't bring you no joy, that you
Right.
resent, that you don't like. Pass it off to somebody else. But if the money not circulating and nobody wants to pay somebody else,
Right.
then we're gonna have a problem. But it's forcing numbers. So I need to have the network.
Yeah.
So all the baby podcasts, the baby talents, baby shows don't have to focus on the numbers. Let me focus on the numbers. Put you under a powerhouse that's going to protect you. And I don't want to own none of it. Let me rent it from you. Let me help you create it. Let me rent it. And once I start treating people so good, yes, other people going to start doing it too, but I'm okay with that. Take that business idea. Take it. Because now you're going to be so forced to compete with me because I'm treating people right. Baby, people walk in this content house and they don't want to leave.
Sure don't. We don't want to go.
They don't want to go.
Real comfortable.
Right. Like, they don't want to go because we're coming to you and you're the star here, period.
right.
The behind the scenes team is a star.
Yes.
The talent is a star. You're supported. It's like, hey, you want another selfie? Sure. You want another drink? Sure.
Open bar, y'all.
You need a moment? Oh, yeah, the open bar real. So it's I see myself doing what needs to be done.
Right.
And watching people jock per usual. Take it. It's yours. Because now at least you're going to be required to treat people right too. I want creatives to retire. It's not because they haven't done the work. They just haven't had the resources, the skills, the communications, the contracts, the whatever.
Right.
And for some reason, I have the tenacity to keep getting up every time I fall. So if I have to make the mistakes to figure out the framework, or I have to be the one that keeps trying it while you do what you need to do, let me figure it out and then let me just follow through and bring those babies in so we can do what the hell we need to do. So, you know, with that, I definitely see a nonprofit in my future. I have to do a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I definitely see me as an author, not just another memoir. You know, right? Like,
Okay, I'm with that.
and that's in the process of being written now. We're almost done. It's just we're battling between the story that I'm in now and if we should include it in the book or not. You know, a good book, if you really want to sell, you got to include that little homelessness in there.
You
So
do.
it's like we might need to see this through,
Yeah.
you know, because, you know, that you need that sprinkle of just live in a car for a few nights. And so I'm like, we living in a whole van. I need this in the book.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know? So yeah, definitely keynote speaker, author, media mogul for sure, executive producer. I've definitely gotten comfortable seeing my name come up in the credits.
Yeah.
And really just giving myself the power to be more than talent. But, you know, just trusting, having faith, wherever I need to go.
We're going to be here, girl.
Yeah.
I know, because you're going to be on the network. Yes,
I
we're going to be
got a
here. Festivals, tours.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want any of us to have to wait.
Yeah.
I definitely, I'm really excited. I'm really
We're
excited.
excited for you.
Yes,
and
I'm
just
I'm
for your
excited for
vision.
us too.
Yeah.
Yes.
You and us.
Yes. She said, yeah, do that, girl. Do that. So we
Right.
get that. Yes. I'm excited for everybody to see the people that need to be seen.
Thank
and
you.
it's not to knock anybody else, but if you got it, we not gonna mess with nothing you got going on. If you got it, you got it.
Yeah.
We not gonna shake that.
Yeah.
But the people that really ain't got it,
Yeah.
they're gonna be forced to do what they're supposed to be doing. And if more people were doing what they were supposed to be doing, we wouldn't feel so oversaturated in everything else. But
That's real.
so yeah.
So my last question before we get into our segments and our sponsors and all that, what do you say to your 12-year-old self? 12-year-old Samia, what do you say to her?
It is not your fault. It is not your fault. It is not your responsibility. You are loved. This has nothing to do with you. You know, that's definitely something I needed to know then. And keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. I dreamed myself up out of some shit. I enjoyed my childhood. That probably makes me a sick little bastard, huh? But I did. I enjoyed my childhood because there is not anything that I can't flip around and make beautiful. I just had to realize that, you know, you have a superpower. Don't flip everything around. Don't make everything beautiful. And that is not just a word to me as 12, but to every mother out there. Don't flip every story into something beautiful. Some things you need to let go. Some things people don't deserve for you to flip. You have the power as a mama to create anything. To create anything. You create life. You do not owe anyone your power to switch anything into beautiful, because I was able to idolize my parents, even in their nastiness, even in their ugliness, even have the empathy. Everybody don't deserve it. You know? So, you know, don't forget. Don't forget. I would tell 12-year-old me, don't forget any of these things, because I put a lot of things on hold to survive, to mentally be okay, to show up as I needed to get the best from my parents. I knew how to blend in. I knew how to be average enough so I didn't get in trouble. I knew how to, you know what I mean? I knew how to fit in, and emotional intelligence was really high. I knew how to do it. But don't forget, because only until you're 18. You know, only until you're 18. But after that, start living. You get to decide how you want to live your life. You get to start over if you want to. Start over as many times as you need to. As many times as you need to. And just don't forget. That van is because I didn't forget.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted that van. People like, oh my gosh, I always wanted one. I never forgot. I have a list of things. I know exactly what I want. I'm really 12 right now, living all that shit out. You know, just 12. Last year I was just 12 with money.
Right.
Oh my gosh. You know, and I had to get that out of my system.
Yeah.
I had to spend money.
And you deserve that.
Yeah.
You know,
You
and now we
deserve
back. And so next time I know when I get it, what I'll do.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
It got all of this, right?
it's doing it. Investors, if you're listening, we need you.
She's like, whatever camera you
You know, sponsors, we need this, you know. So, that's what I would tell me. Don't forget, you got it. You're beautiful. You're loved. They just they ain't got it all.
Yeah.
They're a little wild.
I've enjoyed talking to you.
Thank you guys for
Seriously,
coming.
like, this has been a huge blessing. The conversation was very heartfelt, and I appreciate you. And I'm sure Devin has the same.
Sentiments.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys just trusting us to, I don't respond the best to messages. I try to show up present. So I only respond when I'm paying attention, which means sometimes we have delays, but you guys have been just very understanding, supportive, and just very offering of resources. Devin was like, we got the broadcaster, girl. We got you if you need it. We got one camera, and if you take another camera. And I'm like, baby, I need a full. But thank you.
We're around the corner. I'll drop it off.
Yes, because there's so many people that have everything and more and won't let you use it and things like that. And so it was just very important to me that I just pay homage to you guys and what you started. And just so to keep doing it. Don't chase any numbers. We're going to be smart. But you don't chase any of that. Right. You doing what you were supposed to, you creating the group chat and letting it blossom, the businesses that you've created just by creating space. Yeah. Creating space. And so you have a hand in all of that. In every interview I've went on, they ask, how did this get started? I say, I was in this group chat.
I know.
Everyone.
And I smile every time.
Every time, because it's true. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's always relevant.
Yeah.
It's always relevant. So, just keep going. Keep going and just understand that whatever your path is, fall in love with it. Yeah. Because it might not be the billionaire. Yeah. It might not be the homeless. Right. It might, who knows what it'll be, but whatever it is where you're supposed to be. Yeah. And it's a reality check, a humility check. And how bad do you want it? Stick to it. Don't let anybody move you off what you know you're supposed to do. You feel it inside of you. Right. And you need to do that. And that's not just for us, it's for those babies. Yeah. So
yes, indeed.
I need my baby to see, really see. Yeah. Because I don't want to be a part of breaking my child. Yeah. That's real. I do my part. So, and that starts with really me being who somebody needs to be. Even if that's a mama that's on the road. Right. A mama that lives in a van. Right. A mama that.
Look, a mama that's doing her best.
Yes.
And that's all.
Yeah. That's all we can do.
We are superstars to our kids. They don't know. They really don't know.
And we really do have those superpowers.
We do. You could change anything. And just, letting him know that, I'm being who I'm supposed to be. Who are you supposed to be? And I understand that every time something comes up, we've been having that conversation with his dad, about what this looks like and my home situation changing and even the support I got from that. Yeah. His dad knows, well aware. He's very happy I got the van now. He, he has some stipulations like where y'all parking and, things like that. But I have everything that I need if I choose to have the courage to use it and to be it. Right.
He's going to love you and appreciate you for that.
So he's my kid. He picked me. Yeah. That's the one that was given. So he is well equipped and aware and prepared for this life. This is the life that he's supposed to come into. So he's supposed to be here. And I need to see it through. Yeah, so
absolutely.
Just keep me on the prayer list, y'all.
Oh, we got you.
Donate a little gas card. What you need? What my little pad for my little face? Oh, here it is.
We got you.
Tell the folks. But no, I'm so grateful for you guys, and so keep going. Y'all doing the Lord's work.
We needed that. We needed to hear that, especially from you. So
it's hard.
It's hard.
It's hard as hell.
We have our
take
days.
turns of being done. Yeah, nah, friend, we got this.
As long as y'all ain't done it at the same time. As long as y'all ain't never done it at the same time.
Yes. We haven't gotten there. Devin has her days and I have mine. But, we just keep going, like you said. And that's all we can do. Yeah. Just keep going.
Absolutely.
Keep going.
And thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. And speaking of keep going, we have some sponsors for this episode.
Yes.
And we appreciate you all.
Thank you, sponsors.
Black-owned businesses. So we have Selfie Co. Skincare. And we start using this line and we love it. I mean, the glow. You see it,
We are all into skincare, especially now that we're
upper 30s.
We're aging, right? We got to be mindful of our skincare.
Yeah,
so
you got to take care of the skin.
Products are really good. And we also, with keeping up with our age and being mindful of the products we use, we've really been into natural cleaning products. Yeah. And North 24th is amazing. The first of all, it smells amazing. The product we have here is lavender and patchouli scent. And I like a nice calming, clean smelling house, and this product is really good. Right. So we totally recommend it for everything. It is a multi-purpose cleaner, so you can use it on your counters, you can use it in your bathroom, you can use it wherever.
Right. And then lastly, guess what, y'all? This episode is also sponsored by the SE Content House.
Yes!
And we are just so excited that Samia lended,
Let's just
open arms. First of all, the space is beautiful. We'll definitely do a behind the scenes so you can see all the rooms. But it doesn't matter where you are with your content. If you're a smaller podcast or a small content creator, or if you're someone well known and have millions of followers, like, there's a space for you.
Yeah.
I mean, she's very understanding for the small content creators, affordable. I don't feel like she beats you over the head where you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't afford this. And you get a great product.
Yeah. And she said it's for us. Like, this is the space for content creators to retire, right? She's putting the work into supporting everything that we're doing in content creators that are in front of and behind us.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're in the Atlanta area and you need a space, you need community, Samia and the SE Content House is totally here.
Definitely your people. So hit her up. Follow the Instagram page, of course. They're doing great things. Her Brandon is amazing, so accommodating.
Hey, Brandon.
We're like, he's like, look in this camera.
Right.
Put your stuff here. He will get you together. So it's just been a really great experience. And the open bar is just
It
plus.
has. Y'all know I like open.
So, it's time to get into some mama juice. We've been getting deep with Samia, crying, laughing. It's time to get a little drink. So what we drinking today, friend?
So today's drink is called Sober. It depends on the person. Devin might say sober AF. I might say sober as fuck. It just depends on the mood, right? But the drink is called Sober AF. And and today's drink was sponsored by Poise'd, which is a wine company, Black owned, that we have enjoyed. But we're going to start off with, because the drink is called Sober as Fuck, we're going to start off with the mocktail version. That's because it was inspired by Samia, because she says she is sober as fuck. Like, that's just what she does, right? So what the drink has is orange juice, pineapple, fresh pineapple, y'all. Not pineapple juice, but fresh pineapple, mint, and it's topped off with ginger beer. And it's really good.
It's
a good
so
drink.
good.
It's a good mocktail.
Like, I kind of wish I had a drink.
You know what's funny? Man. Funny story. So when I was pouring up the drinks, I said, Samia, you want a drink? She's like, no, I'll probably drink so-and-so. I'll drink it out y'all glass. So Brandon, the man behind the camera, I poured him one. She tried Brandon. She said, oh, no. So she took Brandon's drink. I'm going to make Brandon another. So it's that good, right?
It's really good.
And if you are interested in having the cocktail version of this, you can actually add some of our Poise'd Wine to this drink. Yeah, and it's a good brunch drink. Yeah, brunch vibes. It's really good. Y'all know I love a good brunch cocktail. So.
It's so refreshing. Yeah.
And Poise'd is Black owned, so make sure you support.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it is.
It's Black owned.
Yeah, gotta call her. Yeah, the house open bar. We need it.
There we go.
Contact her. I'll give you your contact. But okay, so the next part of our segment or of our show is Mama's Corner, and this is my favorite segment. Kendra knows that. If you've been listening for a long time, you know I love when y'all write in and ask us questions. And this is our chance to connect with our guests a little further and connect with our listeners. So we had a good write-in. So Samia, I hope you're ready for this.
Oh boy, what? Let's see.
Right.
Who is it today?
Let's see. I think you'll like it. So it says, "Hey mamas." Hey, I love when y'all greet us. So hey. Please keep the diverse topics coming. We try. Okay, I won't talk back for everything that you said. All right. I did not realize how broad motherhood was until my friend introduced me to the podcast. I am currently pregnant and I don't feel like my partner is connected to me or the baby. He doesn't ask to rub my belly, read, or talk to the baby. I also don't feel like he's sexually attracted to me. I am starting to lose my confidence, although I'm a pretty confident person. Any tips on how to get through this? Did either one of you experience this before? Is this common? I'm all ears. So
that's a good question.
Yeah, I try to match up the questions with our guests and things like that. So hopefully
I went through that shit.
Pregnant.
I did. Yes. I was married when I had a child, so it was very surprising. Like, so I didn't talk about it a lot because it was embarrassing. Because it was just like, I didn't feel like I was married to a bad guy, and he wasn't a bad guy, you know, but he wasn't my guy. You know, he wasn't my person. And so I was not, he didn't rub my belly or talk to it or anything for months. And so when I did bring it up, because of course you got to ask, and he was scared. Now, did I understand everything he was scared of? No, but also that's valid.
Yeah.
And also you can't help that, motherhood starts for you as soon as you start protecting this baby in your stomach. And so I know that it is difficult, and I'm sorry that you're going through this for whatever reason. But of course, we've only heard an excerpt of what has happened. For me, I was not married to a forever partner. You know what I mean? And that was going to come out one way or another. Right. And if anything, us getting pregnant probably only scared him more because he wasn't happy in the marriage. So he probably would have left sooner had I not gotten pregnant. But also the man that he is and the father that he is, he was like, well, he tried to make it work. Unbeknownst. Whatever it is. I ain't know that though. So I'm like, it just wasn't making sense. But I did know that, like I said, we were trying to find our footing and just trying to find out, is this just normal marriage woes or are we unhappy or, and finding that. And of course, I have the baby inside of me. Right. So it's like I'm getting a different feeling before it has developed for him. But also that changed, like he was very attentive to the baby once the baby was born, but that didn't necessarily change that affection to me. So I can't necessarily say that this is going to change, but what I can tell you is that you do have to have a conversation. Right. You do have to figure out, do you need a third party there so that way you guys can have an open and honest conversation. And you have to have your emotions, I know as difficult as that is with all the hormone changes and things, under control so that way someone can feel safe enough to talk to you and tell you what's going on. And at the end of the day, after you have the information, you have a decision to make. And it's not like, jump to leave the partner, but I'm also not telling you to sit in something that's incorrect. But you don't know how you're going. Some women don't feel connected to the baby until the baby is born. So we can't necessarily fault the dads when they don't, especially when the baby isn't even inside of them. We all are different. And so maybe even if it's not about the baby, if you guys can do something more together or, you know what I mean? Even if, it might creep them out. Like some people don't want to have sex with you because they think that's how the baby get dimples. So you never know. But I ain't gonna lie to you, we do kind of look crazy while we pregnant and it's wild. So I'm not like, so I get all of those things that you're saying are valid. But I guess the question is, how are you going to process through getting the information you need to know to figure out what needs to happen or what's going on here? So my advice is to get information, figure out what's going on. I don't have anything for you to do until you figure out what is the information that's going on here, which is, hey, this is going on. If you guys can't talk about it, you need to bring that third person in. And if there is still no talking, you can't do anything with silence. That you can't do. So my suggestion is to figure out what is going on here. Can you tell us what's going on here? Are you married? Has there been cheating? Or because you said partner, and mostly, I say partner a lot as a polyamorous woman, but most monogamous people don't say partner. They either say my husband or my partner, which means, and so it's just like, what point are y'all really at?
Exactly.
Only you know that. And a lot of times we don't get the whole story in the letter.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
My suggestion is going to be gather all the information and understand that you can't change what that information is. You need to have the information and then decide what are you going to do about it. But understand once you make that choice, that's the choice that you're making. So if you say, this is what's going on, and then 6 months later you're saying the same shit is going on, you made a choice.
Right.
So you need to figure out what are you going to do with the information once you receive it.
Right.
And how long are you going to give to get this information?
Right.
But also just make sure it's realistic, which is why I say get a third party involved, because we may feel like, okay, we got 2 weeks to let me know. And it might not be that for the other person. So you need to make it a safe place so you can figure out the information you need to know.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yeah. I think so.
First time I don't have anything to add.
It's the communication piece. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Just because you can't assume. I know some men are terrified to touch a woman when she's pregnant, and it's not because they're not attracted to her, but because you never know, like especially if it's a first time pregnancy, like you just don't know. Or even if you've had trauma in the past where you've had a miscarriage or lost a baby, and you just don't know how, like those details are important. So have those conversations, don't assume, and then after you have those conversations, go from there and see what happens.
And maybe ask him. Like, maybe he doesn't know that you're comfortable. Maybe he don't know.
That you feel that way
If he's a first-time dad, maybe he doesn't know he's supposed to do those things. So
Yeah.
maybe just ask him, hey, babe, you want to touch my stomach, or you want to read this book to the baby? It might just be that.
Yeah, they might need your help.
Yeah.
You know,
And just-
ushering it in.
If you think about, like, we are all educated women in some capacity, and there are certain things we've been taught, like, this is what you need to do, or we've been exposed to when it comes to developing our kids, whether in the womb or outside of the womb, right? So just you got to have those conversations.
Yeah.
This is really what I'm trying to say. Overall, holistically.
And
Well,
that
thanks.
preparation looks different for each person. I know that even though he wasn't into touching my stomach, probably because it had to do with me, but he still was attached to certain things because he was really big on putting the stuff together with his dad. Everything they put together for the baby, he did it like with his dad and things like that. So also just look, because we all handle things differently.
Right.
And, you know, like I said, open.
Well, write us back and let us know.
Let us know what
happened.
happens.
You may have had
Congrats.
a baby already. I don't know.
Congratulations.
But
Right.
yeah, congrats.
Yeah.
We're happy for you. And yeah, let us know if our advice was helpful.
All right.
Wow, I think this concludes our show. This
It
was
does.
awesome.
Thanks again, Samaya.
Thank you, Samaya. We
course.
really enjoyed
Love you.
ourselves.
Of
And
course.
we
I
can't
love
wait to have
y'all.
you back when we're on your network. So,
Absolutely.
Y'all stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned because it's happening. Okay. Well, until next time. Bye.
Bye.